Hi, Joy Baldridge here to bring a little more joy to your world, a little joy in the morning. Just wanted to talk today about Ogive, positive and negative Ogive. In case you're wondering what that big white light is in the back, that's my skylight in the office. But the sun is shining really brightly today, which puts me in positive Ogive. So what's Ogive? Ogive is a cumulative frequency curve. If you Google it, you'll find that it says that ogive is a cumulative frequency curve. So what does that mean? That means that one point ascends to another, ascends to another. So it goes up, up, up. And then there's positive ogive and there's negative ogive. Positive ogive is when positive upon positive upon positive occurs, and negative ogive is when the opposite happens. Negative upon negative upon negative. So when I was in the office starting my practice years ago, my father would say, wow, he said, you know, the consulting practice that you've started, it's like an ogive curve. And I said, what's an ogive curve? And he said, an ogive curve is accumulation of positive or negative plots on a curve. And he said, so, you know, things go up, 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 like business is better, better, better. That means it's positive ogive, and everyone is experiencing positive ogive. But when the reverse happens and perhaps sales go down or you call in sick or you're having a bad day, that's negative ogive. And I said, well, how does that really work with business and the consultancy that I do? And he said, well, when you meet with people, they're either experiencing positive or negative ogive. And if you just help them understand that if they can take those emotions out of here and plot them on a graph, it takes the emotion out of the experience and it makes it a lot easier to deal with. So when things are going really well for you, you'll be experiencing positive ogive. And when things are not going so well, you'll be experiencing negative ogive. But basically, if you just think about the events that happen in your day as positive or negative ogive, as opposed to really good luck or having a great day or being on a roll, or really bad luck and things are going down and bad things happen in threes, you know, it just helps you to really level out the day, and also helps you to stay really focused on what it is that you need to accomplish, as opposed to being way too excited or way too down in the doldrums regarding things that are occurring. I find it's very easy to just get sucked into circumstance and start to feel that, you know, circumstances control your day. Good things happen, you're up, and bad things happen, you're down. And that's where the ogive curve comes in. So a good question to ask yourself each day throughout the day is, how is my ogive? So how is your ogive today? On a scale of 1 to 10, I know it could be early when you're watching this, or maybe you're watching it on the archive. You can report in by writing a comment. I'd love to see the comments that you make today. And please be sure to like this cast and also share it with your friends. So how is your ogive? Ask yourself throughout the day, how's my ogive on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being just super spectacular, amazing, everything's going my way, and 1 being awful, awful, awful. Now on the ogive curve, the key is to stay above the line, because you don't want to be in that negative ogive. So there's positive ogive and negative ogive. So the key is to stay above the line. So what causes positive ogive? Well, you could be getting up early, you're ahead of schedule, you're feeling great, the sun is shining, and you get to work and everybody's in a good mood, and someone actually took something off your plate and did something that you really didn't want to do, and everything's kind of lining up. The meetings are going well and they're very quick and they're productive, and you're feeling terrific. That's positive ogive. Negative ogive is the opposite. You wake up late, you're behind schedule, you're feeling awful, you want to call in sick, but you have to get something done. You get to work and the person you were supposed to do the project with isn't there, and it kind of goes down from there. And those are just work examples. I mean, you have a personal life too, right? So not only are you at work and things are awful and you're feeling terrible, but you know, your children are sick, or you have to take care of a parent, or maybe you're not looking forward to a visit from somebody, whatever it might be. You know, things go wrong. And if you plot the negative on the ogive curve, then you have a better perspective of how things are happening in your day and a much better control over your emotions and your mood. So to control any emotions, especially any erratic emotions, the key is to say to yourself, how's my ogive? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I feeling? Also, you can say, wait, I'm not feeling so positive or happy today. Why is that? What happened? And kind of do a self-analysis and realize what actually occurred. Oh, yeah. When I was going to the train this morning, this woman yelled out her window, slow down! And she said it so abruptly and so harshly that when I got to the parking lot and I parked my car and I got on the train, I was still feeling the negative ogive that she kind of was sending my way. And I thought, oh, it was just that woman in the parking lot. Oh, let's get rid of that. So what do you do when you're having negative ogive? Well, you have to be careful to detect it, because when you detect it, you can deflect it. So detect and deflect is a really good phrase, a golden nugget, a useful idea to utilize. So I detected that the woman yelled at me in the parking lot, and then I could deflect it because I thought, oh, that's nothing, no big deal there. Sometimes you just have these wandering worries that go on in your mind that make you feel a little bit upset. And you may want to say, why do I feel so upset? Or what's happening? Or why am I feeling so out of sorts? And then you tell yourself, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't get to finish what I wanted to this morning before I had a race to work. And then when I got here, the meeting was canceled. And, it's one thing upon another that causes the negative ogive and the positive ogive to occur. And so the best thing you can do when we talk about ogive, the cumulative frequency curve in your life, is to just plot them on the curve and then use them with others. For instance, I was speaking about positive and negative ogive at a bank in Connecticut, and I mentioned to one of the bank managers that positive ogive is when things go up, 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 and negative ogive is when they go down, down, down. And he said, well, we don't want to tolerate any negative ogive here. We want our customers to have a positive ogive experience. We want everyone who works here to have a positive ogive experience. And then what he did was he took this huge black magic marker and he wrote the word ogive, negative ogive, on a piece of paper, and he put a circle around it with a line, like the international symbol for not. And so it was like, no negative ogive, and he put it on the door of his office. And so when I saw that, I thought it was genius. So of course I made a button out of it. Do I have it here? Yeah, here it is. So it looked like that. No negative ogive, no negative ogive allowed. And if you want a no negative ogive button, you can write me a comment, and I'd be happy to mail you one. Just send me a comment with your address. Oh, looks like Will is going to get the negative, no negative ogive for his team. Great. Now you can ask yourself the question, how's your ogive? How's your ogive on a scale of 1 to 10? And see how that can work for you. And when you control the controllables, you end up being in a more positive ogive experience. So control the controllables by plotting the positive and plotting the negative. There's a problem when you're always experiencing negative ogive. When you keep going down, 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 what happens is you can get very depressed. And sometimes you're hospitalized for this depression. But if you're always, always up, sometimes you're hospitalized too, because you can be a little bit too up there, a little bit woohoo, a little too manic, and nobody likes that. So you have to watch the ogive and make sure that when everything's going your way, that you don't get too upbeat. In one of my previous postings, I was talking about the 4 core human emotions that I call houses. So you have 4 core human emotions: mad, glad, sad, and scared. Mad, glad, sad, and scared, and I call them houses. So the house of mad, the house of glad, the house of sad, and the house of scared. And of course, the question to ask yourself is, which house do you live in most, and is it time to move? And the way that you live in the house of glad, which is the best place to live, happiest, most productive, really great at attracting positive energy, to live in the house of glad, you've got to watch your ogive. Watch your ogive. And also remember to pay your rent to live in the positive houses. And pay your rent, rest, exercise, nutrition, and thoughts. You want to make sure to pay attention to those elements. Pay your rent every day to live in the house of glad by watching your ogive. If your ogive gets too high, you're too happy, you're too upbeat, too many positive, great things happen to you, and you start telling everybody about them, what happens is that people don't like that. They kind of perceive you as being obnoxious or conceited, or maybe they might feel that you're, getting too many positive things, and they might get jealous of you. And so it's nice to be positive. It's nice to be in positive ogive, but be careful not to go over the top. Watch the degrees to which you express your positive Ogive, because you don't want it to be unreal, not relevant, a little strange and out there. So you always have to keep your Ogive in check, whether it's positive or negative Ogive. So what you may want to do is throughout your day-to-day, ask yourself, how's my Ogive on a scale of 1 to 10? If you're feeling like it's subpar, then you have to do something to pull yourself out. And when I was speaking about detect and deflect your Ogive, you want to detect so that you can deflect. You also can acknowledge to release. For instance, when you feel like you're seeping into the negative Ogive, you can say to yourself, oh my God, this is awful. This is terrible. It just seems like everything's so depressing. I get bad news and it's just going down, down, down. Can't win a break. And then you say to yourself, okay, I'm acknowledging that things are awful. And now once you acknowledge it, there's almost an auto release to that. But a lot of people don't acknowledge to release. What they do is they ignore. Have you ever ignored anything? You see what happens when you ignore it? Does it get better or does it get worse? Usually it gets worse because when you ignore it, it just doesn't go away. It just stays there. So sometimes we'll say to ourselves, I'm just not going to pay attention to that, or I'm not going to think about that anymore because I just don't like that. I don't like what happened. And you just say, I'm not going to, I'm not going to deal with that now. It's not even worth thinking about. Well, what's happening is you're thinking about it constantly. You're ignoring it and like pushing it away, but you're not dealing with it. So when you experience a negative Ogive, and you say on a scale of 1 to 10, you're negative Ogive, you're in negative Ogive, you're on a 2 or a 1, negative Ogive becomes like this quicksand, and it sucks you down and brings you down, 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 down. And so you have to be very careful to do something to pull yourself back up. So ways to deal with Ogive initially is to just ask yourself, how's my Ogive? If it's negative, then you have to say to yourself, what happened? And acknowledge that it's awful. It's awful. When my mother got diagnosed with cancer, it was awful. It wasn't a positive Ogive experience. I wasn't living in a house of glad when the doctor said your mother has Hodgkin's lymphoma. Those are words no one ever wants to hear. But we acknowledged it and we said, okay, she's got cancer. And then we released the worry. We cut the worry wires on that. And we said, what are we going to do about it? What action can we take? And so keeping in mind that negative Ogive happens to everybody in all areas of work and life, with family, with friends, with situations that you can't control. And that's why this expression of control the controllables is just so powerful. Control the controllables and ask yourself, how can I control this? What can I do about this? We ended up going to certain specialists and doing a lot of research, and we were very, very effective at getting the proper treatment. And she's still here with us today at 86 years old. And so controlling the controllables and really doing the methodical step-by-step is really useful. And you never know what your outcome is going to be, but as long as you stay, I want to be in positive Ogive. I want to do positive things as opposed to just shutting down and going into the deep throes of the darkness of negative Ogive. So with Ogive, you're either riding the wave, you're up riding the wave, or you're off to the cave, and it's just everything's so awful and miserable. So if you had a choice between riding the wave and being off in the cave, who knows what you would pick, but I highly recommend riding the wave, or at least staying above the line. So ways that you can stay on positive Ogive, decide what makes you happy. That's pretty much it. Talking to a friend, taking a moment, taking a break. I always find that the 4-4-6 is quite useful. The 4-4-6 is a breathing technique where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and exhale to 6. Let's give it a try. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And repeat. Keep breathing. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then take a moment and then ask yourself a question. How's your Ogive? If you don't like the word Ogive, how am I feeling today? How's my mood today? How are things going right now? Just ask yourself the question. And keep a list of the top 10 things that help you stay in positive Ogive, and perhaps a list of the things that bring you down and pull you into negative Ogive. Sometimes negative Ogive comes from people that you have in your world. Sometimes you talk to negative people, or maybe your boss is really difficult, or maybe you're having trouble, communicating with your spouse or with your kids, or maybe you have teenagers or small children. I mean, all these things can bring you great joy and positive Ogive, or great sadness and negative Ogive. So is it music that does it for you? That does it for so many people. Think about what's your favorite playlist and have that at the ready. And maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's nature. Maybe it's looking at beautiful pictures, reading, whatever it is. Sometimes reading positive literature. Exercise is always a good way to get into positive Ogive, because you get these positive energy going. So just keep in mind how your Ogive is and what you can do to make a difference with that. And then also remember a quote that I like very much, and this quote says that all is well. All is well, all is well, all is perfectly well, and unfolding as it is. And so if you just say that to yourself maybe 5 or 10 times in a day, all is well, all is well, all is perfectly well, and unfolding as it should. Another quote that I like is, you have to take the good with the wonderful. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was in New York City with my great Aunt Joan, and she was in her 80s, and my daughter, Mackenzie, who was 5. And we're in Manhattan, and we're on 5th Avenue, around 53rd Street, and we're just trying to cross the street. It's not a big deal, but it was a big deal, because I have this 5-year-old pulling me one direction, and I've got this older woman in her 80s wanting to go in another direction, and there's taxi cabs zooming by, and lots of people, busy streets. It starts to rain, and I'm just thinking my Ogive is definitely going down, down, down. And so I'm trying to maneuver and wrangle these two in so we can get to the restaurant. And even at the restaurant, it was just quite a lot of energy extolled to really make this a nice evening for everyone. We got in the taxi, we went back to Aunt Joan's apartment, Upper East Side, and then I got her settled, go down to the doorman, and he said, "Can I get you a taxi?" And I said, "Yes, that would be great." And I just knew I just looked completely exhausted, disheveled, and it was just a tough Ogive moment. And he was this cute little Irish man, and he said, "Wow," he said, "it looks like you've had quite a day." And I said, "Oh, you don't know the half of it." And then he said to me with his little Irish accent and kind of a smile and a nod, a wink, he said, "You know what, my dear?" And I said, "What?" And he was getting the taxi. The light was on the taxi stand there. And he said, "Sometimes in life, you just got to take the good with the wonderful." I thought, the good with the wonderful? That's not what I was thinking about, the good with the wonderful at all. But you know what? I liked it. And I thought, wow, why don't we just go from good to great? Why don't we go from, number 7 or 8 in the positive Ogive up to the 9 and the 10 in the positive Ogive? And wouldn't it be nice if we could have little to no negative Ogive experiences? And actually you can, because it's all how you perceive the experience to be. Positive Ogive, negative Ogive, what's good to one is not so good to another. This morning I was running 4 miles. I'm getting ready for the New York City Marathon, and I'm starting to ease into my routine. I'm going to be running in the 2018 New York City Marathon, so I'm taking a year to really get it going. And I was having the best time running. That put me in such positive Ogive. But if you were to think to get up at 6 in the morning and run 4 miles, is that positive or negative Ogive to you? As I was running, I saw a woman, and she had a baby strapped to her chest. She had 2 in a stroller and a dog. And I passed her by and I said, "Wow." And she said, "Yeah." But she was smiling. She was in positive Ogive. I don't know if that would have put me in positive Ogive. I spaced my children out quite far. So what's positive Ogive to you? Having a bunch of kids at home and taking nature walks with them, or going to work, or what is it? It's just so different. Negative Ogive, positive Ogive, it's all about how you perceive it. So I'll leave you with this. It's really all about the joy. And how do you get to the joy? You get to the joy by participating in Ogive awareness, being aware of where your Ogive is at any given moment in the day. And to regroup, you just take a breath, take a moment, and ask, how's your Ogive? Take a moment, take a breath, ask, how's your Ogive? And don't forget to get rid of your WAFs. Worry, anxiety, and fear is the WAFs. No place for that in your life. And when you have that Ogive awareness, you will cut the worry wires. Cut the worry wires. Cut the worry wires. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to have an awesome day. I hope you have an awesome day. This has been 20 Minutes of Joy. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and share and spread the joy around the world, because that's what I'm here to help you to do. Cheers.